The 5.7 Genshin Impact livestream just wrapped up, and we got a ton of crazy new information. The new endgame gives you an item that allows you to re-roll your artifacts. We got a Nod Cry teaser, and we got the upcoming 5 stars. So in this video, we're going to go through the upcoming banners to help you decide which one is worth wishing on for you. Welcome to Cello Impact, where we build and test every single character to help you decide who you want to wish for and build. Alright, starting off, this video will focus on the banners. I will have another separate video for the artifact rerolling, another video for a Skirk and Dahlia pre-farming guide, and just a guide in general. And so there's going to be lots of content coming, but tons of people want to know, is Skirk worth wishing on? Is Shenhe worth it? Is Mavuika worth it? Emilie, and the banners, and of course Dahlia. So we're going to talk about that first of all. So Skirk is coming, and we saw her animations, and she looks incredible. The latest damage calcs from the Genshin scientist have her at easily the second best DPS in the game. And although I can't talk about the way she plays yet, she feels extremely strong when used with Escoffier and Furina in that right team. She looks like she's going to be a really, really powerful and fun character. So a lot of people are wondering, should I get Skirk for meta? Is Skirk a good pull or a bad pull? And the answer is that Skirk is a DPS, which means that unless the DPS is Mavuika, in my opinion, you never, ever pull a DPS for meta. And that is absolutely true for Skirk. The only DPS that is even remotely different is Mavuika, because not only is she by far the strongest DPS in the game, she can also be used in a ton of teams outside of her being strictly the on-field DPS, just opening up your account overall. Skirk, although she will be very strong, and she will have an on-field playstyle and a burst support playstyle, which could possibly give her more longevity than other DPSs, she is still primarily a DPS. And even though she will be the second strongest DPS, I would be surprised if in the next few versions we didn't get another second strongest DPS. So I highly don't recommend getting Skirk as a meta pull. Now, if you like Skirk and if you like this design, she is absolutely 100% worth wishing for, especially if you have a Escoffier, especially if you have a Escoffier and Furina, and those are really the two characters that you want to pair with Skirk to make her feel amazing. Will she still be able to clear without a Escoffier? 100%. She does more than enough at a baseline to clear without Escoffier and to have substitutes without Furina. Most accounts should have the tools to make a Skirk team. We'll talk about her free-to-play options in my Skirk guide, but that's basically where it lands. If you like Skirk, you should definitely get her. Although if you want to make her strong, eventually you really want to get a Escoffier and Furina. But in the meantime, you will have options to still clear content. Even if you didn't manage to get a Escoffier, she is looking to be extremely strong. So currently, her best team, at least again according to the Genshin scientist, and at least close to the best team according to anyone, we have Shenhe probably being part of that best team. Does that mean you should get Shenhe for Skirk? Does that mean you need to get Shenhe for Skirk? The answer is not necessarily and no. So should you get Shenhe? I think the answer really is not necessarily. So yes, she is probably going to be the best in slot for Skirk. Perhaps it will be Yelan. If you have Constellation 4 Mona, like I know that's like Constellation 4, but if you happen to have that, it's possible that that is her actual best in slot, even better than Shenhe, which is something to consider. I personally think that this 4th slot is very dubious for now. So going for any 5-star character to be that 4th slot for Skirk seems a little bit premature. I feel like we're going to get a real 4th slot at some point. But of course, if you like Shenhe, which I do, she probably, I don't know if she has my favorite design of the game. It's between Shenhe and Skirk, to be honest, for my absolute favorite design in all of Genshin Impact. I personally wished for Ayaka so that I could use my Shenhe. That is where I'm at in terms of Shenhe's design. So if you want to get Shenhe because she's Skirk's best in slot, because you like her and your cope reason to get her is because she's Skirk's best in slot, then I fully support you. Just don't get her just for meta. Know that you're getting, if you go for Shenhe for Skirk, you are getting a character that will likely be power crept. In my opinion, I know a lot of people are saying that Skirk will be power crept, just like Arlecchino was power crept as a DPS. I am much more worried about the 4th slot being power crept, and frankly, both of them could be power crept, right? Arlecchino got both a new best in slot support in Citlali and power crept by Mavuika in the very same patch. So I think it's very likely that Skirk gets a new best in slot teammate at some point. So just be careful going for Shenhe just based on meta. As long as there's part of you that wants Shenhe just because you love Shenhe, then that's fine. The extra reason that I think this is that Shenhe doesn't have perfect synergy with Skirk. Shenhe has perfect synergy with Ayaka, actually, because Shenhe is able to use 2 quills, even at Constellation 0, she's able to use 2 quills per rotation, which means she's able to fully maximize her kit for Ayaka, which she is not able to do for Skirk, because on Ayaka, you can use Ayaka's burst, use the first few quills, switch back to Shenhe, use another skill, get more quills, whereas Skirk does not allow you to do anything like that. Skirk can only use 1 set of Shenhe quills. So, to me, this really shows that we're going to be getting a new best in slot at some point in the future. And Mona, frankly, is going to be quite close to Shenhe. Yulan is very close. Freaking Mualani is very close. So again, will it be best in slot? Probably. Is it worth it? Probably not. But hey, if you got the wishes, if you love Shenhe, you want to go for it, absolutely, why not? Other things to talk about is on this banner, we are also getting Dahlia. Dahlia is going to be an attack speed buffer and hydro shielder, so he will work as a good 4th slot for Skirk, particularly for free-to-play teams who, if you don't have a 5-star weapon, this allows you to use the Calamity of Ishu event sword. That sword only works if you have a shielder, so Dahlia will be good for that. Attack speed is also okay for Skirk. Overall, Dahlia does lose to Mona, though. So if you've ever lost your 50-50 to Mona, you're kind of already, starting at a loss. And Dahlia doesn't have all that many uses outside of Skirk teams so far. I will do a video on Dahlia, a pre-farming guide, in the coming days, so keep an eye out for that. The weapon banner is something I want to talk about. So the weapon banner of Skirk's weapon and Shenhe is very intriguing. For Skirk wanters, I would personally call this a win. Number 1, you may have Shenhe. Number 2, you may not have a weapon for Escoffier. In either case, Shenhe's weapon is good for you. Shenhe's weapon is also, if we take a look at it, Shenhe's weapon gain 12% all elemental damage bonus. So it's a high base attack weapon with attack percent substat. Obtain consummation for 20 seconds. After using an elemental skill, causing attack to increase by 3.2% per second. This attack increase has a maximum of 6 stacks. When the character is off field, the attack increase is doubled. So 6 times 3, 18. Doubled is 36. So 36% attack and 12% all elemental damage bonus. This is a very good buff, and so any off-fielder that can use their elemental skill can use this weapon. So it's incredible for Shenhe, it's incredible for Escoffier. I mean, it's not incredible for Escoffier, but it is quite good for Escoffier. But it's also good for other off-field DPSs. It's good for Xiangling, because of course it is. Everything is good for Xiangling. And it's also good for Eonsan, because Eonsan also wants attack. Of course, it will require you to build a crap ton of energy recharge, but it is technically Eonsan's 2nd best in slot behind Escoffier's signature. Escoffier's signature is just stupidly broken. So overall, what I'm saying is Shenhe's weapon isn't like crazy. You shouldn't go for it. But if you happen to lose to it on your way to getting Skirk's weapon, most accounts that run Skirk will find a home for Shenhe's weapon. Skirk's weapon herself is extremely good for her. 30% better roughly than her free-to-play option. A lot of people will end up going for it. Also, the drip is otherworldly. That being said, weapon versus C1. If you already have a 5-star weapon, probably the C1 is going to be better. Also, Escoffier's constellations and weapon are also huge upgrades. So this may be a skip, this may be a wish. We can talk about the weapon banner a bit more when the 4 stars are revealed. That will give us a bit more insight. But suffice it to say, no one would have been wishing for this weapon banner unless you're a Skirk wanter. And Skirk wanters, Shenhe's weapon is not a bad second. It's not the best. Obviously, something like Mavuika would have been the best, but it's not a bad second. So there you go. I don't think anyone's wishing for Shenhe's weapon specifically. That's not advisable. Shenhe can be hard to build energy for, so it's not that you can't make it work, but Fav does have value also. So, moving over to Mavuika. Mavuika, if you have any inkling or desire or feel yourself pulled to get Mavuika in any way, shape, or form, it's probably a good idea. Very, very few characters are as worth pulling as Mavuika. I personally think that Mavuika is the strongest character in the game, full stop, beyond any supports and beyond any DPSs especially. Personally, the gap is just that big, in my opinion. Of course, people may disagree with me, and that is totally, totally fine. But I think the number of teams she's on, the difference in power, how she can carry an account just using, whatever you have is just otherworldly. And sure, she requires Natlin units and all that, but there's a lot of Natlin units at this point, and I don't think that this requirement is too crazy. She has the 3 best teams in the game as a DPS. Number 1 is Mavuika Melt. Number 2 is Mavuika Vape. Number 3 is Mavuika Overload. Possibly Skirk will beat out maybe those last 2, right? But currently, pre-Skirk, she has the best 3 teams in the game, which is frankly just absurd. And of course, on top of that, she is a support sub DPS for lots of other units, Natlin and otherwise. So Mavuika, very, very good pull. I don't know what to say. I will definitely make an updated Mavuika guide. But my other Mavuika guide is still quite good. I've had people come onto my stream. By the way, we are streaming right now, so if you want to be part of the action, make sure to follow me on Twitch. But I've had people challenge me on this and say Mavuika needs Citlali, she's terrible without Citlali, and then I just go into the Abyss, and I've done this 2 or 3 times now, and I just pull up Farina, Shalone, and Bennett, and with Farina, Shalone, and Bennett, she dumpsters every other DPS in the game, whether it's Novelette, whether it's Arlecchino, whether it's Varessa. Like, Mavuika Vape is crazy, and it's very easy to play. And Mavuika Overload is also crazy and easy to play. So there really is no justification for what Hoyoverse did. They just went and gave us just way too strong of a character. That being said, you do not have to pull her to beat the game, right? She's not a required pull. Absolutely not. If you want to keep using Arlecchino, keep using Arlecchino, right? She's more than not required. Arlecchino is still a very strong DPS. The game does not cater towards her power level currently. She just feels like a cheat code. It feels like you're cheating when you're playing her, her real team especially. So if you want permission to skip her, permission granted. You're fine without Mavuika. Even though she is the strongest character in the game, and I generally do recommend getting her, you still should always wish with a plan. If you have someone on stream came out and said they have Escoffier, they have Farina, they have Arlecchino, and they have Shalonin. Should I get Skirk or Mavuika? Well, to 99% of people, I would always recommend Mavuika before Skirk, but for them specifically, if they wanted to keep using Arlecchino, then getting Skirk is so much better because it completes the freeze team and then allows Arlecchino to use Shalonin. And if we're talking about just one more pull for efficiency, that particular case, maybe Skirk would be a better pull than Mavuika. So it's not that there's not any cases out there where getting Mavuika, well, there's no cases where it's a bad idea, but I don't think that you should just get her just because she's strong. Even though it's still not going to be bad for you, you'll still probably find a way to use her, and you'll find yourself using her. I don't want you to replace a character that you like just because another character is stronger. I think that's just bad form and bad taste. So again, permission granted to skip if you want to skip. It is totally okay. Moving on to Emilie. Emilie is in a really interesting spot. I generally don't recommend Emilie for meta, despite her being a quite strong character, actually. Like, she is not a weak character. She can carry a team by herself, especially like to a 36-star level. Like, you can have... I took Shalonin, Bennett, Shangling, Emilie into the second side of the Abyss, and I cleared the Papilla in like a minute. I cleared so it was like a great thing. And Shalone is not even buffing Emilie on that team. She's buffing Shangling only. So it's like a very silly, goofy example how Emilie is just really, really strong character. And I wasn't even using her signature. I was just using Deathmatch or Jadewing Spear or something. So Emilie is like a very strong character. She's barely meta. She's technically best in slot for Kniech sometimes Escoffier, sometimes Emilie, because all Emilie does is damage. So the more you invest into Kniech, like his constellations and things like that, if you don't go for like constellations on Emilie, it can fall to some like more buffing options, because Emilie doesn't buff your Kniche, for example. She only does off-field sub-DPS, but she does an absolute ton of it. So I don't recommend getting Emilie for most people for meta, except for Kniche players. And even Kniche players, you could give pause. You could go for, you know, Kniche constellations instead. But if you're wanting to build, you know, have more team options, then Emilie is a good idea for Kniche players. I also really do like Arlecchino burning a lot. Like, a lot. I think it's really, really underrated. Personally, I find it Arlecchino's second strongest team. I really just like the simplicity, the AoE, just the multi-wave. Arlecchino, I just think it fits really, really well. I like it personally better than Overload. I like it personally a lot better than Vape. I think Arlecchino burning Emilie is just really, really good. So there's definitely stuff you can do with Emilie regardless. Yeah. And then there's the weapon banner bit of this one. So Emilie and Mavuika. It's an amazing weapon banner for Emilie wanters, because Emilie's weapon is great for her, and Mavuika's claymore is the best claymore in the game. I think it's the best weapon in the game overall. It's just so universal and so powerful. But Emilie's weapon is not universal. Mavuika's weapon, high base attack, crit rate, crit damage, attack, and it's activatable by anyone who uses their skill, and then it can be extended by a decent percentage of the cast. So it's just a very, very good weapon overall. It's almost best in slot on most Claymore users, or at least half of them. At least it's close on the rest. And then Emilie's weapon is really extremely strong for her or for characters in burning teams. So Arlecchino in burning teams, Xiangling in burning teams, Emilie herself, but it's kind of not that great outside of burning teams. So again, if you're going for this weapon, it's great because you might lose to Mavuika's weapon. But if you're going for Mavuika's weapon and you don't plan on getting Emilie, don't plan on playing burning stuff, because burning stuff without Emilie, not that great. Overall, the weapon banner, kind of not that the best. But again, we'll talk about it more when the banners come with their 4 stars. Make sure to subscribe. Check the link down below. The first 20 people to sign up and do that survey, which Genshin does look at, are going to get an Amazon gift card, which is pretty awesome. But even if you're not going to get a gift card, the survey is very valuable for Genshin to improve the game. And it seems like they're wanting to improve the game based on all the quality of life that we got this patch. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know who you're going for this patch. And again, make sure to subscribe for Skirk guide, Dahlia guide, artifact, reroller guide, nod cry, teaser breakdown. We're going to talk about it all in the next coming days on the channel. And if you don't want to do any of that, it's totally fine. Just watching the video has been more than enough. Thanks so much. Bye for now.